what I really want to find out is if there's an emotional side to animal relationships. I'm travelling deep into the Austrian Alps to meet a couple who seemed destined to be together. Dr. Didone Frigerio is a biologist from the world-famous Konrad Lorenz Research Group. They've been studying this flock of grey-lag geese for more than 40 years. Grey-lag geese are known for having particularly strong, long-term relationships, but I'm here to find out about a pair who really captured Didone's heart. Their names are Tareq and Judith, and they met 8 years ago.
They were together for 3 years without being success. That means they didn't have goslings together.
So is that a bit unusual that they would stay together for 3 years even though they didn't rear young together?
No, it's not unusual. There are many pairs within the flock who never reproduce.
And yet they stay together?
Yes, they stayed together for years.
And then what happened?
And then it was winter, it was January, and there came a storm. And Judith was gone. She got lost in the storm.
Judith's sudden disappearance meant that Tareq was now alone.
When the males are losing their partner, they are laying around a lot, they are feeding less, they are not joining the social life of the flock. Yeah, I would say they are quite depressed.
Without a partner, Tareq was vulnerable.
You have to imagine a pair is a social unit and they are supporting each other. And when they are left alone, for sure, they are an easy target. And everybody else in the flock is attacking him, biting him, and chasing him.
Having been alone for months, Tareq eventually began a new relationship with another female in the flock. His luck had finally turned, and Tareq was back to his old self. The breeding season was only a few weeks away, and there was every hope he would finally start a family with his new partner. But fate had other plans for Tareq. Almost a year after they were tragically separated by a storm, Judith returned, and Tareq's reaction was quite extraordinary.
Tareq was going back to Judith.
That's quite incredible, isn't it?
Because it's hard.
It's art.
It's hard, but it depends from which point of view.
But it just goes to show, as you say, life goes on. Biology is such that Tareq needs to find a new mate. But something in Tareq made him want to be with Judith above his new mate. What do you think was going on there?
Yeah, I think it is experience and how strong the pair bond was. They were a good pair. They were good matched.
It's fascinating to think about it. And whatever, because we can never get into the head of a goose to know what Tareq was thinking, what's absolutely clear is that the strength of the bond he had with Judith was strong enough for him to go, she's back, she's the one. I'm going back to her.
Yes, I think so.
Love that story. So this is them?
Yeah, this is them. So you see on the right, the bigger one is Tareq.
So Tareq, Judith.
And 4 goslings. The one here on the right is Tareq, and you see he's watching and keeping everything under control.
And this is the second year they've bred successfully and actually reared successfully, more to the point.
Yes, yes.
It was totally worth getting back together, wasn't it?
Yeah, of course.
The story of Tareq and Judith really is heartwarming and raises many intriguing questions. If it was simply a matter of survival, then why didn't Tareq just stay with his new partner? Why was he so compelled to be with Judith? Could it possibly have been love? Professor Kurt Kortschall from the University of Vienna has spent decades studying the long-term bonds between grey lag geese. I want to find out if he thinks there's an emotional side to Tareq and Judith's relationship.
Do geese have emotions then?
Well, it's a difficult thing to know because as a scientist, I'm not supposed to project something into a goose. But what we know is that kind of 6 basic emotions are common to mammals, to birds: anger, fear, falling in love, sexual arousal, play, and we have this kind of appetitive system, being interested in something. That's one of the basic emotional systems.
I didn't realize that falling in love was considered a basic emotion.
Yeah.
I thought that was quite a complex one, and one that most people are loath to draw analogies about when it comes to humans and other animals. How controversial was it to come up with this, and how long has it been since it's been pretty much accepted within the scientific community?
People didn't want to hear about it because they liked to be special. There was this deep trench generated over the centuries, and now we know the last 10, 20 years have produced increasing evidence that the trench between humans and animals is not as deep as many people would want it to be. The parts of the brain responsible for the basic mechanisms are the same in humans and geese. The hormones involved are the same. The behavior we see is the same. So there's a lot of parallels. What we cannot say, of course, is how they are feeling. Whether the human feeling of falling in love is the same than the goose feeling of falling in love, but it's not unlikely that it's really the same.
The research Kurt and the rest of his colleagues are conducting is changing how we see animal relationships. It proves that for some animals, it's not about finding just any partner. For Tareq, Judith really was the one. And they've gone on to successfully raise a family together.